Okay, so this might be a little bit of a sadder topic than I normally talk about on this channel, but I don't know. I stumbled across this news article. It's from ABC Australia, and I'll put the link of the article down below in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. But it's about the anime industry and kind of the struggles that these artists have. And here's the thing, if you've been around on the internet and you're, in the anime conversation in that sphere, you've seen artists, stuff with MAPPA artists that happened a few months ago. This has been a non-stop issue that has been going on. And this article kind of talks about how the anime industry is worth tens of billions of dollars, but artists are still struggling to make ends meet. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm just a guy that really likes this stuff, so I really probably don't have, the answer, and I'm not going to try to be like, this is what you should do. The obvious answer is, relax on the work hours and pay the artists what they deserve to be paid. Maybe more than minimum wage. Because in this article, it actually goes into that if you divide the hours that these artists work, it is less than minimum wage. And that is so crazy to me. And especially, I'm just going to speak from my experience, right? Growing up in general, you kind of hear this stuff of well, they're living their dream. Isn't that worth more than just money? Well, hold on. Wait a minute. Just because someone is doing something they actually enjoy for a living doesn't mean they shouldn't get paid properly. I don't know if I have to say that. Should be common sense, in my opinion. But here we are. And so in this article, they interview two artists, one that has worked on some One Piece films, and another that actually got their way into anime through posting their art online, which I still think is so cool. And I think what's even cooler is they're not Japanese. And I think that opens the conversation, and they kind of pose this in this article of, is the future of anime kind of these co-productions? We've already seen co-productions in animes. Honestly, Afro Samurai and Samuel L. Jackson, The Big O Season 2 and Cartoon Network, and any anime from manhwa, like God of High School and Tower of God. So while it's still rare, it has been known to happen in the past. So it's not crazy to think that the future of anime is more than just in Japan. Now, while that's a different subject, and I don't really want to talk about that because people have their own feelings about anime should just be from Japanese artists or anime should be from all over the world, and people can have their own opinions. Hey, however you feel is the way you feel. That's completely fine. But regardless how you feel about that specific topic, I think we can all agree that artists in this form should be compensated right, especially if the industry is growing at such a rapid rate, which it has done over the last decade. But anime would not be growing at that rate if the people behind the scenes were not putting in their heart and soul into this stuff and achieving levels of animation and continuously one-upping themselves season after season after season, series after series after series. So yeah, you can say that people have discovered series throughout the years and that has led to the growth, but honestly, growth wouldn't happen if those series animations were not incredible. But I will say there was kind of some hope that I think of happened in this article, because they were talking about how in the 80s, 90s, the word otaku, which we kind of use in North America as someone that's really into manga and anime. Probably if you're watching this channel, I myself, we're otakus, you get what I mean? And they went on to say that otaku was frowned upon in the Japanese culture. It kind of was known in society for the isolation or the obsessiveness. But the good thing of anime going worldwide is these animators that are usually confined to their desks can actually see the impact that their art has on the world. She goes on to say that they never really knew that anime was getting popular until social media. They started seeing the TikToks, they started seeing videos. Hi, hey, maybe they see videos like this, And while they were behind the scenes and they never really got to ask to be into interviews or anything of that nature, it's changing. Directors and animators now are kind of becoming more in the public eye, and I think that's such a great thing. Because even in the 90s, 2000s and stuff, you had the Studio Ghibli, the Miyazakis, but they were few and far between. And I think being able to have these animators and directors and all of these people behind the scenes having them more front and center in like the Crunchyroll Awards or anime expos or conventions or any of those areas. And that goes for manga authors too. I think the more that you can kind of see manga authors, and we've seen it with manga authors, I think more and more coming over, at least into North America and probably worldwide too, for those conventions. And that's only a good thing, because instead of being kind of this faceless creator, now they're front and center. Now that gives them more power in the corporate world, or you hope it does, you know what I mean? You can't, maybe you can, but I can't say like that's going to help fix this major issue in anime. But these creative people behind the scenes gaining a following on the internet, I think is a good thing. And while it can go bad, we've seen many animators and things of that nature get attacked online, which I know it's going to be crazy. I'm going to say something, whoa, I'm going to take this stand. Never a good thing. Don't actively, attack somebody online for I don't know. It's not a good thing. Point blank, period. And while about half of this article is about the animators and them kind of becoming more front and center, but still getting paid minimum wage, working over 80 hours a week, and the nonstop crunch time and work culture that surrounds animators, another interesting part of this article, they interview someone that's not from Japan and wants to make it as an anime artist. And he talks about how he got into this industry, and it was honestly by posting his art online, and now he's animating for Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, these big anime series. And kind of what his plans are. And that's why they talk about how anime might go global and it won't just be isolated to Japan. Because he was talking about how he wants to just really take this opportunity that he's given to learn as much as possible and then go back and open up his own anime studio from his home country. And we've seen other countries get involved with anime and manga. I mean, we just had a North American publisher open up a manga house and they started publishing series. And those manga are already out from Alien Books, like Fake Rebellion, In Rollback, and a few others. And while we'll have to wait and see how these manga perform, it's still kind of cool to see an international publisher take on some series that maybe wouldn't have seen the light of day otherwise. And to me personally, I think that's really cool that we're seeing kind of this opening of the world to anime and manga, because it's something that I really love. As you can tell, listen, I really love it, and I've said it multiple times in videos and stuff. More people getting into it and more creative people expressing themselves through this medium that I think is amazing. I'm all for. They should be compensated accordingly, and not have to work these crazy hours. And I think that goes into us as the audience. Are we okay when creatives take breaks? And I think in manga, we are starting to get used to it. I think it's a great thing. I mean, Oda takes breaks all the time. There are many manga authors that now, I don't know if behind the scenes or, you're starting to slowly see that crack in like every week, and people are actually taking their health into concern, which is a good thing, because I believe that we have lost a lot of great, incredible talents because of maybe not exactly the work schedule and the workload, but I guarantee you that probably had something to do with it. And seeing this industry kind of being open to like, hey, there might not be a chapter every week. It might be every 2 weeks, or the series might have to go on a monthly schedule for the author's sake. I think that's okay, because to be honest, when I'm a fan of something, I just, want the author to tell the story they want to tell. To me, it doesn't really have to be in a timely manner. Wow, don't get me wrong. When I love something, I want the most of it that I can get at a certain time. Listen, I want all of it. Have you ever stumbled across a series and you're like, well, I'm just going to binge read all this because you just want as much as possible, but it's not worth the risk of this author producing this story? But I don't know. I just thought this was a really interesting article talking about this thing that I know you have heard of and had discussions with your friends or online with people, because it's been a topic of conversation for honestly as long as I can remember. So like I said, the article is down there in the description. You can read through it yourself if you would like. I do think it was very interesting, and I think it's always cool to see the perspective of animators and things that, like they were talking about, they used to not be front and center. So I just thought it was a really good article, and I wanted to make this video about it. So hopefully you enjoyed it. As always, it means the world to me, especially those who made it to the end of this video. And I hope if you're having a bad day, it gets better. If you're having a good day, I hope it becomes fantastic. I'll see you next time.